The day humanity restrained a cosmic titan, the outer edges of human space had always been quiet, almost too quiet. For centuries, the colonies on the fringes of the galaxy had existed under the shadow of larger empires, alien coalitions, and wandering dangers. Yet humanity had learned to adapt, survive, and even thrive. Ryder Station, a mining colony orbiting a pale blue star in the Zelen sector, was one of these outposts. It looked small and fragile from a distance, a cluster of metal and glass anchored precariously above a barren planet, yet inside, it thrummed with quiet life. Miners and engineers moved in precise rhythms, scientists monitored sensors, and traders negotiated deals that often determined the fate of dozens of settlements. Commander Ethan Drake, he had spent most of his career in the Outer Rim, learning the ways of survival that most of the galaxy's elites never bothered to understand. He knew that danger rarely arrived in announcements or polite warnings. It came quietly, like a shadow moving across the stars, and often it was already too late to react. On this morning, as Drake sipped his coffee and scanned the readings from orbiting sensors, he noticed something that made his stomach tighten. The readings showed strange energy fluctuations, patterns that did not match any known cosmic phenomenon. The sensors pulsed with signals of increasing intensity, each spike louder than the last, sending ripples across the communication network. "Sir," came the voice of Dr. Leela Marks, the station's lead astrophysicist, over the comm. "I'm picking up a massive object moving through hyperspace. It's hard to describe. Nothing like I've ever seen before. Its mass alone should be impossible." Drake's eyes narrowed. "Impossible is a word we try not to use out here, Doctor. Can you get me a better estimate?" Marks hesitated. "I'm working on it, but whatever this is, it's enormous. Larger than any known planet, and it's moving with intent, almost like it knows where it's going." A chill ran down Drake's spine. The Outer Rim had seen disasters before: rogue black holes, exploding stars, and the occasional wandering fleet of alien raiders. But nothing in his experience prepared him for the idea that an entity of unimaginable size could be heading straight for human space. He left the mess hall, walking down the narrow corridor to the observation deck, where the main viewport revealed the endless dark of space sprinkled with stars. In the distance, a faint glow began to emerge, growing steadily brighter. "Commander," said Marks, appearing beside him, "you need to see this." Through the viewport, a shape slowly came into focus. At first, it seemed like a star, but as they watched, they realized it moved differently, pulsated with an unnatural rhythm, and radiated energy in ways no star ever could. The light shifted colors, blues, purples, and greens swirling like a storm contained within itself. It was massive, so massive that it dwarfed the nearby planets. The whole station shook as a subtle gravitational wave passed through their orbit. Instruments went haywire, alarms blaring and blinking with urgent red lights. This was no ordinary cosmic event. This was something alive, something powerful, something that humanity had never encountered. "Everyone brace yourselves," Drake said, his voice steady even as his mind raced. He had dealt with emergencies before, but this was unlike anything he could have prepared for. "Shut down all unnecessary systems, prepare defensive grids, and get me a fleet on high alert." Across the colony, miners abandoned their drills, engineers rushed to stabilize energy lines, and scientists scrambled to analyze incoming data. Despite the chaos, there was no panic. Humanity had always faced impossible odds with courage and ingenuity, and Drake knew that this moment would demand both. Marks worked frantically at her console, her fingers flying over holographic projections as she attempted to map the massive entity's trajectory. Each new reading was more alarming than the last. The object's size and energy output were incomprehensible, yet it moved with precision, like a living mind navigating through the void. "Commander, it's accelerating," Marks said. "It's heading straight for the inner colonies. If it enters human-controlled space, there's no telling what will happen. It could annihilate everything in its path." Drake clenched his jaw. The fleet under his command was formidable by human standards, but against something of this scale, they were nothing. Still, humans were never the ones to flee from danger. "We'll make it count," he said, more to himself than anyone else. "Prepare the long-range scanners. I want every colony alerted, and get me the planetary defense teams ready. We're not giving up this space." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien traders and patrols observed the anomaly with fear. Entire fleets that had once ignored human presence were now scrambling, retreating from the zone as if the universe itself had sent a warning. Aliens communicated in hurried signals, debating whether to flee or fight, yet all of them shared the same thought. Humanity would be crushed, like the other fledgling species that had dared to claim a corner of space. Back on Ryder's station, Drake and Marks watched the energy readings climb exponentially. The massive object, now identifiable as a cosmic titan, was approaching faster than any starship could hope to outrun. It was vast, a glowing being that seemed to stretch across the void, its surface shimmering with waves of energy, as if the very laws of physics were bending around it. Every sensor on the station flickered under the strain, warning of gravitational distortions, energy surges, and spatial anomalies. Marks turned to Drake. "Commander, it's responding to our scans. I think it can detect us." "I'm not sure if it's aware or curious, but it's acknowledging our presence." Drake's eyes met hers. A spark of determination flared. "Then we're going to show it who we are." The next hours were a whirlwind of preparation. Human engineers worked tirelessly to reinforce the station's structural integrity, while scientists calibrated every possible sensor to monitor the Titan's movement. Ships from nearby colonies arrived, forming a small fleet under Drake's command. They were tiny compared to the cosmic entity, yet humans did not consider size the final measure of strength. They had survived countless battles, faced overwhelming odds, and relied on intellect, courage, and quick thinking. This moment would demand every ounce of those qualities. As the Titan drew closer, its presence became almost overwhelming. The gravitational waves it emitted tugged at the station, forcing structural compensators to their limits. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and communication arrays hummed with interference. Even so, humans continued their preparations, calm under pressure. It was not fear that guided them, it was resolve. The first direct encounter came without warning. The Titan moved with silent, deliberate grace, passing close enough for its energy to interact with Ryder's station. The station trembled, as if the very foundation of the universe had shifted. Drake and Marks stared at the viewport, mesmerized and terrified. The Titan seemed to pause, almost as if it were observing them. Its energy swirled in mesmerizing patterns, creating waves of light that danced across the station. For a moment there was no danger, only the strange awareness that they were being studied by a force beyond comprehension. Drake's voice broke the silence. "It's not attacking, not yet, that's our chance." Marks nodded, her fingers flying across the console. "I think I can create a resonance signal, something small just to see if it responds to human manipulation." Drake gave a sharp nod. "Do it. Carefully, we don't want to provoke it, just test its awareness." The signal was weak, almost imperceptible, yet it carried a pattern designed to interact with the Titan's energy waves. Almost immediately, the Titan's glow shifted, reacting to the pulse. The change was subtle but unmistakable. It was responsive. It was not mindless. It was aware, curious, and potentially controllable. "This is incredible," Marks whispered, unable to hide her awe. "It's like it's alive, not just a force of destruction. It's studying us." Drake's jaw tightened. "Then we'll learn to study it right back." As the hours passed, Ryder's station became a hive of activity, each human moving with precision and determination. The Titan lingered in orbit, its massive form dwarfing the station, yet it did not attack. For the first time, humanity realized that size, power, and destructive potential were not always the final measures of survival. Intelligence, courage, and the ability to act decisively could turn the odds in their favor. By the end of the day, the Titan hovered above Ryder Station, a living mountain of energy and light. Humans on the station had done nothing more than observe and send small signals, yet already they had learned more than any alien empire had about the being. And while the rest of the galaxy panicked, the humans remained calm, united, and prepared. They were small, yes, but they were determined. They were clever, they were resilient, and they would not be crushed without a fight. Drake turned to Marks, his face resolute. "We don't know what it wants. We don't know if it's dangerous. But we know this: we will not run. We will not give up. We will face it, and we will find a way to survive." Marks met his gaze, her expression filled with the same unwavering resolve. "Then let's see what humanity can do." Outside, the Titan's glow pulsed gently, as if acknowledging their determination. For the first time, humanity faced the unimaginable and found not terror but opportunity. They would learn, adapt, and endure. And when the day ended, they had not only survived, they had made the first move in a game that no one else had dared to play. The Titan hovered silently in space, an enormous presence that seemed both terrifying and strangely serene. Ryder's station remained tense but operational, each human moving with careful purpose. Commander Ethan Drake, he had ordered the station's defenses and sensors to operate at maximum capacity, but he knew that conventional weapons were useless against a force of this scale. Every time a report came in from surrounding colonies, it told the same story. Planets were trembling, space lanes were disrupted, and fleets that tried to approach the Titan were either destroyed or forced to retreat. The galaxy watched in fear, but humanity stayed focused. Panic was a luxury they could not afford. Dr. Leela Marks, she studied the Titan constantly, analyzing the energy pulses it emitted. She had discovered that its energy patterns were not chaotic but rhythmic, almost musical, like a cosmic heartbeat. Every pulse carried information, and she suspected that the Titan could sense the intentions of those nearby. "It's responding to us," she said quietly to Drake, her eyes never leaving the glowing form. "I think it's learning from our presence, or observing. It's not attacking, but it's aware. It's intelligent." Drake's face was serious. "Then we need to understand it before it understands us in a way that could destroy us." He knew that human intelligence was often underestimated in the galaxy. Other species saw humans as fragile, small, and reckless. But humans had a unique ability to adapt quickly, to think creatively under pressure, and to act decisively when others hesitated. This situation demanded all of those qualities in full measure. The first human plan was simple: observe, test, and respond. Marks began sending small energy pulses, subtle manipulations designed to interact with the Titan's natural energy flow. The Titan responded slowly at first, shifting its glow and emitting minor waves that affected the station's gravity fields. Humans monitored each reaction meticulously, taking careful notes. Every change was a lesson, every response an opportunity to learn. They were cautious but deliberate. Humanity was rarely the strongest, but it was always observant and cleverness could survive what brute strength could not. Outside the observation deck, the rest of the fleet arrived. Small human frigates and exploration vessels, scattered across the sector, formed a loose perimeter around the Titan. Alien observers watched from a distance, whispering among themselves. In their arrogance, many assumed humans would panic, flee, or attack recklessly. They did not understand that humans had never relied solely on firepower. Their strength lay in strategy, resilience, and the ability to act in ways that other species could not predict. As the humans began testing larger resonance pulses, the Titan reacted more noticeably. Its massive form shifted, energy streams bending and twisting around the ships. Some ships were caught in minor gravitational distortions, forcing them to maneuver with precision. Still, no humans panicked. Pilots adjusted their courses, engineers stabilized failing systems, and Drake issued commands with calm authority. Every movement was intentional, every decision measured. While other species would have crumbled in fear, humanity demonstrated a quiet confidence born from centuries of surviving the impossible. Meanwhile, Dr. Marks discovered something remarkable. The Titan's energy patterns were not just reactive, they were responsive. It could change its behavior depending on the frequency and rhythm of the signals sent to it. In other words, the Titan could be influenced. She shared her findings with Drake, her excitement barely contained. "If we can modulate the signals correctly," she said, "we might be able to guide it, not control it completely, but direct its movement. We could keep it from destroying colonies or even lead it away from populated systems." Drake's mind raced. "Then we don't just survive. We can act, we can show that humanity doesn't bow to things we cannot understand. We'll do this carefully, and we'll do it together." His voice carried the weight of leadership and unshakable resolve. The humans were small, their ships fragile, but they were determined. That determination, more than any weapon, gave them an edge. The first attempt to guide the Titan was daring. A fleet of human ships moved in precise formation, each vessel emitting specific resonance pulses designed by Marks. The Titan shifted its energy, moving slowly toward the pattern the humans created. Small tremors shook the ships, and sparks of energy arced across shields, but the plan worked. The Titan's enormous presence was guided by human strategy, its attention focused on the rhythm of their signals. Alien fleets that had gathered nearby could only watch in disbelief. Humans, weak by appearance, were directing a cosmic entity with nothing more than intelligence and courage. Drake ordered the fleet closer. "We need more data. We need to know if it can truly be guided." The pilots obeyed, maneuvering through gravitational waves and energy surges with skill that no alien ship had ever shown in these conditions. Humans had learned to thrive where others failed, not by overpowering challenges but by understanding and adapting to them. Every move was calculated, yet bold. Every risk was mitigated by preparation and quick thinking. This was the essence of humanity, undaunted, unpredictable, and brilliant under pressure. Hours turned into a full day of tests and observations. The Titan grew more responsive, moving through carefully planned corridors of energy pulses. Humans discovered that its reactions were subtle but consistent. When they slowed the rhythm, it hesitated. When they increased frequency, it accelerated. Marx realized that patience and careful timing were just as important as strategy. Humans did not rely on brute strength. They relied on observation, patience, and creativity, and so far it was working. Alien observers began to murmur among themselves. Some could not hide their fear. The same humans they had once dismissed were now shaping the behavior of an entity that no fleet, no weapon, and no empire had ever dared to influence. For the first time, they questioned the assumption that humans were insignificant. Humanity, small and underestimated, was doing what others could not. But the Titan was unpredictable. At one point, it reacted violently to a miscalculated pulse, sending a shockwave that rocked the surrounding ships. Shields overloaded, engines struggled, and minor systems failed across the fleet. A few pilots panicked, but Drake's calm voice guided them through the chaos. "Adjust the frequency, stabilize the resonance." "We can do this." His command reminded everyone that even when faced with something far beyond comprehension, humans acted with clarity and resolve. Panic was temporary. Strategy endured. Dr. Marks worked furiously, recalibrating the signals. Sweat ran down her face as she adjusted frequencies in real time. Finally, the Titan responded positively, its energy field settling into a pattern that matched human intentions. The fleet cheered quietly over comms, knowing they had achieved something remarkable. They were not controlling the Titan. They were interacting with it, guiding it gently, demonstrating restraint and ingenuity. In the galaxy's history, no species had ever attempted such a feat, and fewer still had succeeded. Humanity was rewriting the rules. As the first successful interaction ended, Drake contacted nearby colonies. "This is Commander Ethan Drake of Ryder Station. The Titan is responsive to our signals. Maintain calm. Observe. We are working to guide it safely. Do not attempt to engage or flee unnecessarily." Humanity is taking the lead. Across the sector, humans and aliens alike received the message. Some were skeptical, but many were inspired. They had always underestimated humanity, and now they were seeing the consequences of that mistake. That night, Ryder Station and the surrounding fleet settled into a tense rhythm. Humans continued to observe and adjust, learning more about the Titan with each passing hour. Marx discovered that its energy patterns contained subtle traces of intelligence, as if it was trying to communicate in a way humans could understand. While the language was not comprehensible, the intent was clear. It was aware, it was learning, and it was responding. Humanity's patience, creativity, and courage were being acknowledged by a being beyond imagining. Drake walked through the station, speaking briefly with pilots and engineers. "You've all done well today. This is only the beginning. We are not just surviving, we are shaping our fate. Remember that. Every calculation, every maneuver, every decision matters." His words inspired calm confidence. Humans were small in size, yet their determination filled every corner of the station. Other species might judge them by appearances, but humans judged themselves by actions. And today, their actions were extraordinary. The Titan, now partially guided by human pulses, loomed above them like a celestial sentinel. Its massive form shimmered in the darkness, casting eerie glows across the fleet. Humans watched with awe, understanding for the first time the true scale of what they faced. This was no ordinary challenge. It was a test of ingenuity, courage, and restraint. The Titan's presence forced humans to confront their limits. And for the first time in galactic history, a small human fleet was proving that intelligence and strategy could hold their own against cosmic power. In private, Marks and Drake reviewed the data. "If we continue at this pace," she said, "we might actually guide it safely through populated areas. We might even prevent destruction without firing a single weapon. It's incredible." Drake nodded. "Incredible, yes, but dangerous. Every move counts. We cannot afford mistakes." But humanity has never been afraid to face the impossible. Today, we prove that again. As the Titan drifted slowly through space, partially responding to human guidance, a sense of cautious hope spread across Ryder Station and the surrounding fleet. The galaxy watched silently, unsure what to expect next. Humanity had taken the first step in a challenge that no species had ever faced, and the outcome was uncertain. But one thing was clear: humans were not passive, they were not weak. They were observant, adaptable, and capable of brilliance under pressure. And the Titan, massive and ancient, had begun to recognize that reality. By the end of the second day, humans had established a rhythm with the Titan. Small, careful adjustments allowed them to influence its trajectory, guiding it without provoking aggression. Engineers and scientists worked side by side, pilots maneuvered with precision, and commanders coordinated every move. Humanity had discovered a new kind of power, restraint combined with intellect, courage, and creativity. They were small, yes, but formidable in ways no one had anticipated. Drake looked out through the viewport at the glowing giant. "Tomorrow," he said quietly to Marks, "we take the next step. We'll show the galaxy that humanity can face the impossible and come through unbroken. We are small, but we are unstoppable when we act as one, and the Titan will see what humans can do." Marks smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the shimmering glow. "Yes, Commander, we will show it, we will guide it, and humanity will survive." Outside, the Titan pulsed gently, as if acknowledging their determination. The humans on Ryder Station knew that the next phase would be even more challenging, but for the first time, they felt a measure of confidence. They were no longer mere observers of a cosmic threat. They were participants, shaping events with intelligence, courage, and patience. The galaxy had underestimated them, but humanity had proven that even against a force as vast as a cosmic Titan, they could survive, and perhaps even prevail. The Titan had become more than just a threat. It was a mystery that humanity was beginning to unravel. Every movement it made, every pulse of energy it emitted, spoke of intelligence beyond comprehension. Ryder Station, which had once seemed fragile against the vastness of space, now became the center of human ingenuity. Commander Ethan Drake, he watched the Titan carefully from the observation deck, his mind racing with plans, contingencies, and calculations. Every decision carried weight. One mistake, one misjudged pulse, and the Titan could unleash destruction beyond imagination. But for the first time, he sensed that humans could influence it, that their actions mattered. Dr. Leela Marks, she had been working around the clock, analyzing the Titan's energy patterns. She noticed subtle fluctuations in its behavior, tiny hesitations, shifts in its rhythm, and changes in its pulsations that suggested it was learning from human interventions. "It's not random," she explained to Drake. "Every time we adjust the resonance signals, it reacts differently. It's almost like it's thinking, responding to us." Drake nodded. "Then we're not just surviving, we're communicating, not with words but with patterns. Every pulse we send is a message." He turned back to the viewport, watching the Titan loom above the fleet like a colossal living mountain. The sheer scale of it was overwhelming. Its glow stretched across hundreds of kilometers, its energy bending space around it, and yet humanity had begun to find a rhythm with it. They had discovered that intelligence and patience could compete with sheer force. The next step was daring. Drake called a meeting with the fleet commanders and the lead scientists. "We need to guide it," he said firmly. "We cannot leave it to drift uncontrolled. It could destroy colonies, fleets, or even entire systems if we let it go unchecked." "Doctor Marks, can we build a larger resonance field? Something powerful enough to influence its movement more directly?" Marks considered the question, her mind racing. "Yes, but it will be risky. A larger field could provoke it. It might respond violently. We need precise timing and careful coordination, or it could destroy everything in range." Drake's jaw tightened. "Then we do it carefully. Humanity has survived impossible odds before, and we're going to do it again. Every ship in the fleet will contribute to the field." Every signal must be synchronized, and we must maintain calm no matter what happens. His words carried authority and reassurance. The humans under his command had learned to trust his decisions, even in the most dangerous situations. Preparations began immediately. Ships were positioned in precise formations, each vessel contributing its energy output to the resonance field. Engineers and scientists worked feverishly, ensuring that the signals were perfectly aligned. Pilots ran simulations over and over, adjusting their courses to maintain exact distances. Every human aboard every ship understood the importance of the task. This was not a fight of weapons. It was a battle of intellect, patience, and precision. The outcome would not be determined by firepower, but by human ingenuity. The day of the attempt arrived. Ryder Station was alive with tension. Every console flickered with data, every communication line buzzed with instructions. The Titan hovered above, enormous and still, observing with what seemed like curiosity. Its energy pulsed in waves that could crush ships, tear through planets, and warp space itself. Yet humans did not flinch. They had a plan, and they were determined to execute it. Drake watched as the fleet activated the resonance field. A wave of energy spread outward, carefully calibrated to interact with the Titan's natural patterns. At first, there was no response. Then, slowly, the Titan shifted. Its massive form rotated slightly, energy streams bending toward the human signals. A collective breath was held across the fleet. Humans had achieved what no other species had dared attempt. They were influencing a being of unimaginable power without firing a single shot. For a brief moment, the Titan pulsed in response, almost as if acknowledging their efforts. Marks monitored the data, adjusting the field in real time. Each correction, each subtle change, elicited a reaction from the Titan. It was a dance of intellect and energy, a battle of minds without words. Humanity was learning to guide the Titan, and the Titan was learning to respond. The alien fleets observing from a distance were stunned. They had assumed humans would panic or fail, but instead they were seeing a species small in appearance, yet capable of influencing a cosmic entity with precision, patience, and intelligence. Some whispered among themselves, fearful of what humans might achieve next. Others tried to understand the process, but none had the patience, unity, or ingenuity that humans displayed. Humanity was proving that strength could take forms beyond weapons and numbers. Hours passed as the humans refined their technique. The Titan began to follow the guidance more consistently, moving along the paths laid out by the resonance fields. Its energy pulsed rhythmically, harmonizing with the human signals. For the first time, it seemed calm. Humans realized that the Titan was not mindless destruction. It was aware, intelligent, and capable of responding to deliberate guidance. Drake allowed himself a rare moment of pride. Humanity had faced countless dangers, from alien fleets to environmental disasters, yet this challenge was unlike any before. No species had ever attempted to communicate with an entity so vast and powerful, and fewer had succeeded. Humans were demonstrating that intellect, patience, and creativity could contend with sheer force, that courage and cleverness could influence even the most incomprehensible beings. But the Titan remained unpredictable. At one point, it reacted violently to a misalignment in the signals, sending a shockwave that rippled through the fleet. Shields flared, engines strained, and minor systems failed across multiple ships. Panic briefly flared among a few pilots, but Drake's calm voice guided them. Stabilize, adjust the resonance, maintain formation. Every ship responded, every team adapted. Humans thrived under pressure, and even when the situation seemed overwhelming, they found solutions that others could not. Marks worked tirelessly, her fingers flying across consoles, adjusting frequencies, recalibrating energy fields. Sweat streamed down her face, but she did not stop. Finally, the Titan responded positively, its energy settling into a pattern that matched human intentions. A wave of quiet relief spread across Ryder Station and the fleet. Humanity had succeeded in maintaining control, not through weapons, but through intelligence, patience, and determination. The Titan's glow pulsed gently, as if acknowledging their efforts. It was a moment of connection between humans and a being beyond comprehension. Drake realized that this was more than survival. It was a demonstration of humanity's ability to act where others might have failed. Humans were small, yes, but they were resourceful, intelligent, and courageous. And in this moment, They were shaping the course of events on a scale few had ever imagined. As the Titan began to follow the paths created by the resonance fields, Drake made a bold decision. We need to move it further from populated systems. It's too dangerous to let it linger near colonies or trade routes. Marks, can we extend the field to guide it safely through the sector? Marks nodded, her eyes filled with determination. It's risky but possible. If we coordinate the fleet perfectly, we can nudge it along a trajectory that keeps everyone safe. We need precise timing and careful adjustments. Drake turned to the fleet commanders. This is it. Every move must be exact. Every ship must maintain formation. Humanity will show that we do not simply react to danger. We guide it, we control it, and we survive. No mistakes. Are we ready? The fleet responded in unison, their voices steady. Ready, Commander, the operation began. Human ships moved in tight formation, carefully synchronizing energy pulses with the Titan's natural rhythm. Tremors shook the ships as the Titan adjusted its massive form, but humans held steady. Every maneuver was deliberate, every adjustment precise. They were not controlling the Titan, they were interacting with it, influencing its movements through intelligence and courage. It was a battle without violence, a test of strategy and patience, and humanity was winning. The aliens observing from afar could hardly believe what they saw. Humans, once dismissed as insignificant, were now guiding a cosmic entity with precision. Some whispered of fear, others of admiration, but all understood that humanity had reached a level of ingenuity that set them apart. They were unpredictable, clever, and unafraid to face the unimaginable. Humanity was proving that size and strength were not the only measures of power. As the Titan moved along the path set by human calculations, Ryder Station and the fleet breathed a collective sigh of relief. They had achieved something extraordinary. They were still in danger, the entity was still massive and incomprehensible, but for the first time, humans had influence. They had turned potential destruction into a controlled, manageable situation. And in doing so, they had proven that intellect, courage, and patience could hold their own against forces beyond imagination. Drake and Mark stood together on the observation deck, watching the Titan drift along the carefully guided trajectory. "We've done it," Mark said softly. "We've actually done it." Drake nodded, his eyes fixed on the massive form. "This is just the beginning. We've shown that humans can face the impossible and survive. The galaxy will take notice." Outside, the Titan pulsed gently, almost in acknowledgement of human ingenuity. It was a being of incomprehensible power, yet it had begun to recognize humanity as a force worth respecting. And for the first time, humans felt not just survival, but a cautious confidence that they could influence the course of events on a cosmic scale. As the night fell over Ryder Station, humans prepared for the next steps. They had proven their ingenuity, patience, and courage, but the Titan was still immense, still unpredictable. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new tests, and new opportunities to demonstrate that humanity's strength lay not in size or weapons, but in intellect, courage, and the will to survive. Drake turned to Marks one last time. "We've made contact. We've learned its patterns. Tomorrow we guide it further. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will shape the outcome." Marks smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the Titan's glow. "Yes, Commander, we will show it what humans are capable of." Outside, the Titan pulsed one more time, a quiet acknowledgement of the humans who had dared to interact with it. Humanity had survived the impossible, and in doing so, had begun to assert itself as a force the galaxy could no longer ignore. The following day began with a quiet determination across Ryder Station and the surrounding fleet. Humanity had made progress with the Titan, guiding it partially through resonance fields and careful coordination. Yet Commander Ethan Drake, he knew the challenge was far from over. The Titan was still massive, unpredictable, and aware, and even one small miscalculation could send it careening into inhabited systems. But for the first time, humanity had leverage. They could interact, influence, and guide an entity that no other species had even dared approach, and they intended to use it wisely. Dr. Leela Marks, she had spent the night reviewing data, analyzing how the Titan responded to different patterns, frequencies, and rhythms. "Its reactions are more stable now," she explained to Drake. "It recognizes consistency and responds to guidance more predictably, but it is still aware, and any sudden change could trigger a violent response. We need precision, timing, and coordination for the next step. Drake nodded, surveying the fleet that had gathered in formation around the station. Small frigates and exploration vessels stretched across the orbit, each one emitting carefully tuned energy signals. Engineers monitored the resonance field, pilots maintained exact positions, and scientists adjusted signals in real time. Every human on each ship understood the stakes. They were not just surviving, they were shaping the course of events, proving to the galaxy that humans could face forces beyond comprehension and come through unbroken. Across the sector, alien observers noticed the human fleet's activity. Some fleets had previously assumed the Titan would destroy anything in its path, while others expected humans to fail and flee. Yet here they were, small ships maneuvering with confidence and precision, their combined efforts influencing an entity of unimaginable power. Murmurs of disbelief spread among alien ranks. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but also clever, coordinated, and unafraid. For once, the galaxy's perception of humanity was beginning to shift. Drake gathered his key officers on the bridge of Ryder Station. Today, we move the Titan further from populated systems. We cannot risk leaving it near colonies, trade routes, or hyperspace corridors. Dr. Marks, your calculations must be exact. Every signal must be aligned. Fleet commanders coordinate with precision. Any deviation could provoke it. Marks worked feverishly, calibrating the resonance field to a scale larger than anything humans had attempted before. It would not only influence the Titan's movement, but also stabilize it along a trajectory that would safely guide it through uninhabited space. The energy output required was immense, pushing every ship in the fleet to its operational limits. Shields flickered, engines strained, and consoles flashed warnings, but humans thrived under pressure. Panic was never part of their strategy. Ingenuity and calm were. The operation began as the Titan responded to the larger resonance field. Its massive form shifted slowly, energy streams bending along the patterns created by human signals. Tremors shook some of the smaller ships, yet each pilot maintained formation. Every adjustment was deliberate, every maneuver precise. The Titan was still immense and potentially dangerous, but for the first time, humans felt they were guiding its motion rather than merely reacting to it. Then, the unexpected happened. Alien fleets that had been observing quietly decided to intervene. Ships from multiple species moved toward the Titan, intending to either claim it, control it, or destroy it. Their weapons glowed, their engines burned with speed, and their intentions were clear. Humans had no right to influence such a force. The combined fleets assumed they could overpower humanity and dictate the Titan's movement themselves. Drake saw the approaching alien ships on his console. "They're moving in," he said calmly. "They think they can take control. Marks, can we strengthen the resonance field?" "We need to show them humans are not passive." Marks nodded, adjusting calculations and rerouting energy from every ship in the fleet. "It's risky," she warned. "Any sudden changes could provoke the Titan, but we can do this." Drake issued commands with steady authority. "Fleet, maintain formation. Focus all energy on stabilization and guidance. Do not engage their weapons unless absolutely necessary. Humanity will act with precision, not panic." As the alien fleets approached, the Titan reacted. Massive pulses of energy radiated outward, causing smaller ships to tremble. The aliens expected chaos, but humans responded with strategy. The fleet adjusted resonance signals in real time, guiding the Titan along a safe trajectory while simultaneously creating energy barriers that repelled approaching ships without attacking. It was not brute force. It was intellect, timing, and unity. The aliens hesitated, confused, and alarmed. Their weapons did not affect the Titan, and their maneuvers were disrupted by the humans' precision control. They had underestimated humanity once again. Small, fragile, and seemingly insignificant, humans were influencing a cosmic entity that had the power to annihilate entire fleets. The message was clear. Brute strength alone was not enough to dominate humans or the Titan. Drake watched the situation unfold with calm determination. "Keep the Titan steady," he instructed. "Adjust the frequency slightly to counter their maneuvers. They will not disrupt our control. Humanity has patience, and patience wins." Marks worked feverishly, recalibrating resonance fields as alien ships tried to disrupt the flow. The Titan responded to the human signals, moving gracefully along the path set by the fleet. Tremors shook ships caught in the periphery, but the fleet maintained cohesion. The aliens realized that humans were not only clever, but also unafraid of cosmic forces beyond their understanding. For hours, the humans guided the Titan through uninhabited space, while alien fleets attempted to interfere. Each time the aliens adjusted their positions, the humans countered with precise adjustments, not with aggression but with control. The Titan, enormous and ancient, seemed to recognize the humans' efforts. Its energy pulsed in harmony with their signals, and it moved steadily along the intended trajectory. Drake allowed himself a rare moment of quiet pride. Humanity had faced unimaginable odds, not only contending with a cosmic entity, but also navigating interference from the galaxy's most advanced fleets. Yet they had succeeded. Their ingenuity, patience, and courage had not only guided the Titan, but also demonstrated to the galaxy that humans could act where others might fail. Marks monitored the Titan's responses with meticulous attention. "Its energy is stabilizing," she reported. "It is no longer reacting violently to minor adjustments. The trajectory is holding steady. If we maintain this, it will reach a safe zone without incident." Drake nodded. "Good. Keep adjustments minimal and precise. We're not finished yet. The aliens may try one last move, but we are prepared." As expected, the alien fleets attempted a coordinated strike, firing high-intensity beams toward the Titan. Humans did not retaliate with weapons. Instead, they reinforced the resonance field, absorbing and redirecting energy safely through the fleet's combined output. The Titan pulsed in response, moving more swiftly along the intended path, as if recognizing humanity's skill. Alien ships were forced to retreat, unable to match the humans' combination of intellect, patience, and unity. The demonstration was complete. Humans had not attacked, yet they had defended the Titan, guided its motion, and repelled interference from the galaxy's most advanced fleets. For the first time, other species understood that human strength did not always lie in firepower or numbers. It lay in creativity, strategy, resilience, and the ability to act decisively under pressure. By the end of the day, the Titan had moved further from populated systems, its massive form now drifting through a carefully plotted corridor of safe space. Ryder Station and the fleet had executed one of the most daring and precise operations in human history. Humans had acted without panic, without aggression, and yet with effectiveness that astonished the galaxy. Drake surveyed the results with calm satisfaction. "We've done it," he said to Marks. "We've guided it safely, and we've proven that humans can face the impossible without violence. The galaxy has underestimated us, and we've shown them what we are capable of." Marks smiled faintly. "It's incredible. The Titan, it's aware, but it trusts us enough to follow our guidance. We've learned its patterns, adapted to its behavior, and influenced its movement. Humanity has done something no one else could do." Drake nodded. "And we're not done yet. The next phase will test us even more, but we now have proof. Humans are clever, courageous, and capable of shaping the outcome even in the face of forces beyond imagination." Outside the fleet, the Titan pulsed gently, a rhythmic acknowledgement of the humans' presence. It was enormous, ancient, and beyond full understanding, yet it responded to humanity's ingenuity. The galaxy watched in awe and disbelief as humans guided a cosmic entity without the use of traditional weapons, relying instead on strategy, patience, and intelligence. The day ended with humans maintaining control and influence over the Titan while preparing for what lay ahead. They had navigated interference from alien fleets, managed a force capable of annihilating them, and proven that intellect and courage could succeed where brute force might fail. Ryder Station and the fleet were exhausted, but alive, confident, and ready for the next phase. Drake stood once more on the observation deck, looking out at the massive glowing entity they had guided through space. "Humanity has faced impossible odds before," he said quietly, "but today we've done something extraordinary. We've guided a force the galaxy feared, and we've shown that intelligence and courage can prevail where power alone cannot. We're small, but we are unstoppable when we act as one." Marks joined him, eyes reflecting the Titan's glow. "Yes, Commander. We've earned its trust, and we've proven to the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. Tomorrow, we continue, and we take the final steps to ensure safety and control." Outside, the Titan pulsed once more, an acknowledgement of humanity's skill and patience. It was a being of incomprehensible scale, yet it had recognized human ingenuity. The fleet, tired but determined, prepared for the next phase. Humanity had demonstrated its strength in a way the galaxy had never seen before, not with destruction, but with brilliance, courage, and restraint. And in doing so, they had secured their place as a force worthy of respect, even by cosmic standards. The final day of humanity's interaction with the Titan began quietly, but with a sense of tense anticipation. Ryder Station, floating in orbit around the pale blue star of the Zellan sector, hummed with activity. Every human aboard knew that today's operations would determine the Titan's future path, and in many ways, humanity's place in the galaxy. Commander Ethan Drake, he walked through the corridors, observing engineers, pilots, and scientists at work, their faces set with concentration. There was no panic, only focus and resolve. Doctor. Leela Marks, she had spent the night analyzing the Titan's responses from the previous days. Her eyes were tired, but determination kept her going. "It has stabilized along our guided path," she told Drake, "but this is the most critical phase. We need to ensure it remains within safe space and does not drift back toward populated systems. Any misstep could be catastrophic." Drake nodded. "Then we do it carefully, methodically. Humanity has proven it can guide this entity, but now we must show the galaxy that we can restrain it fully without causing destruction. This is our final test." The fleet, now larger with additional support ships from nearby human colonies, spread out in precise formation. Each vessel contributed to the resonance field designed to interact with the Titan's energy patterns. Engineers monitored every pulse, every vibration, every minute change in the massive being's behavior. It was a careful dance of intellect, timing, and coordination. Across the galaxy, alien species watched nervously. Word of humanity's successes had spread rapidly. Some fleets approached cautiously, curious to witness this unprecedented display. Others kept their distance, wary and fearful of humans who had defied expectations and influenced a cosmic entity without weapons. The galaxy's perception of humanity was shifting, and the full scale of their ingenuity was now impossible to ignore. The first stage of the operation involved stabilizing the Titan completely within a corridor of safe space. Marks adjusted signals delicately, ensuring the massive pulses of energy were aligned perfectly with the Titan's rhythm. The Titan responded, its colossal form pulsing gently, moving gradually along the intended path. Tremors rippled through the smaller human ships, yet the fleet maintained perfect formation. Humans had learned to operate under extreme pressure, and their patience and precision had become a weapon in itself. Drake's voice echoed across the comms. "Keep it steady. Adjust gradually. Every movement must be controlled. Humanity has guided it this far, and we will not fail now." Hours passed as humans refined the resonance signals. The Titan, immense and incomprehensible, began to respond more consistently. Marks noticed patterns emerging in its energy, subtle but unmistakable, as if it were learning from the human's intent. "It's understanding us," she whispered to Drake. "Not in words, but in action. It recognizes the guidance and responds. This is unprecedented." Drake nodded, pride mingling with caution. "We cannot underestimate it. The moment we assume control is complete, we risk everything. Continue with precision. Humanity succeeds because we adapt, not because we dominate." Then, as the operation reached its critical phase, a ripple of unexpected activity spread through the fleet. Alien ships, emboldened by curiosity or ambition, attempted to approach the Titan. Some fired warning beams, hoping to disrupt the human-guided path. The humans did not panic. Instead, they responded with intelligence and restraint. Resonance fields were adjusted, energy pulses recalibrated, and the Titan's movements countered the interference. Alien ships were forced to retreat, unable to overcome the humans' coordination and ingenuity. Drake watched the events unfold with calm authority. "Do not respond with weapons. Use precision and timing. Show the galaxy that humans can act decisively without aggression. Focus on the Titan." Marks worked feverishly, her fingers dancing over controls, recalculating and fine-tuning. Sweat streamed down her face, but determination never wavered. "It's working," she said. "The Titan is following the path exactly." The resonance field is stable, and it is responding to every adjustment. We are controlling its trajectory safely. By midday, the Titan had entered the final stage of the safe corridor. Its energy pulses glowed steadily, synchronized with human signals. Tremors still shook some of the fleet, but every ship maintained formation. Humans had guided a being that could have destroyed them in seconds, and now it was moving exactly where they intended. Across the galaxy, alien observers watched in disbelief. Humans had accomplished the impossible. Drake took a moment to address the fleet. Today, we prove something beyond survival. We prove that humanity can act where others fail, that intelligence, courage, and patience can guide even the most incomprehensible forces. Maintain focus. We are almost finished. As the Titan moved through the final stretch of the corridor, its energy pulses became more stable, more harmonious. Marx analyzed the patterns and realized that the Titan's responses were now predictable, almost cooperative. It had recognized humanity's intent and adapted to it. Humans had earned its trust, not through aggression, but through consistency, intelligence, and restraint. Then came the moment of full restraint. Drake issued the final commands. All ships focus all energy on stabilization. Synchronize completely. Humanity's path ends here, and so does the Titan's uncontrolled motion. Execute now. A wave of coordinated pulses spread through the fleet, each ship contributing to the resonance field. The Titan responded instantly. Its massive form settled into a steady orbit within the safe corridor. Tremors and energy surges passed harmlessly through the fleet, which held formation with unwavering discipline. Humans had guided a cosmic entity, restrained it completely, and ensured that no destruction would occur. A quiet cheer spread across Ryder Station and the fleet. Humans had succeeded where others had assumed they would fail. They had proven that their strength was not only in weapons or numbers, but in intelligence, creativity, and courage under pressure. The Titan, immense and ancient, had recognized humanity's ability to act decisively yet safely. Drake and Marx watched the Titan through the viewport. "We've done it," Marx said softly. "It's stable, we've restrained it without violence. Humanity has succeeded." Drake nodded, a rare smile appearing. "Yes, and we've proven something to the galaxy. Humans are clever, resourceful, and courageous. We act where others hesitate, and we endure where others fail. The Titan respects our actions now, and the galaxy will have to recognize it." Outside, alien fleets observed cautiously, many still unsure of what they had witnessed. Some approached slowly, curious and tentative, realizing that humans had accomplished what no other species had attempted. They had restrained a being of incomprehensible power without firing a single weapon, using only intelligence, strategy, and patience. Throughout the day, humans worked to reinforce the Titan's restraint. Engineers maintained energy flows, scientists monitored behavior, and pilots adjusted formation to stabilize the resonance field further. The Titan pulsed gently in response, a rhythm that matched the humans' careful control. It was no longer a threat, not because it had been destroyed, but because it had been guided and restrained by a species that had proven itself capable of facing the impossible. Drake addressed his fleet one last time. "Today, humanity has not only survived, we have succeeded. We have guided a cosmic entity, restrained it, and ensured the safety of countless lives. Remember this: courage, intelligence, and patience are as powerful as any weapon. Humanity is capable of extraordinary things when we act together." Marx smiled, exhaustion evident but overshadowed by triumph. "We've shown the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. The Titan recognizes us. Others will, too. And we've done it without violence, without destruction, and with brilliance." As the day ended, the Titan hovered quietly within the safe corridor, its immense form glowing steadily, a living testament to humanity's ingenuity. Ryder Station and the fleet remained vigilant, but the tension had eased. Humans had faced an impossible challenge and emerged victorious, not through force, but through strategy, patience, and courage. The galaxy would remember this day. The story of humans restraining a cosmic Titan spread quickly among observers and alien species alike. For centuries, humans had been underestimated, dismissed as fragile or reckless. Today, they had demonstrated that size, strength, and weapons were not the only measures of power. Intelligence, unity, and bravery could accomplish what others thought impossible. Drake and Mark stood together on the observation deck, watching the Titan's calm pulses. "We've done something extraordinary," Drake said. We've not only survived, but we've shown that humanity is a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy will never see us the same way again." Marx nodded. "And we've done it without destruction. That makes it even more remarkable. We've earned respect, not through fear, but through skill, courage, and restraint." Outside, the Titan pulsed gently, almost as if acknowledging the humans who had guided it. Humanity had survived the impossible, restrained a being that could have annihilated them, and proved to the galaxy that intellect and courage were as powerful as any weapon. Ryder Station and the fleet rested, exhausted but triumphant, knowing that they had changed the perception of humanity forever. The day ended with humans observing the Titan from a safe distance, maintaining control and monitoring its behavior. Humanity had faced an unimaginable challenge and had risen to meet it with brilliance, courage, and ingenuity. The galaxy would remember this as the day humans restrained a cosmic Titan, a demonstration of resilience, intelligence, and the indomitable spirit that defined humanity. Drake turned one last time to Marx. "This is our victory," he said. "Not just over the Titan, but over every doubt the galaxy ever had about us. We've shown what humanity can do." Marx smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the Titan's glow. "Yes, Commander, we've shown them all." And as the stars shimmered above Ryder Station, humans knew that they had achieved something extraordinary. They had survived, succeeded, and proven to the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. They were clever, courageous, and capable of facing the impossible, and they would continue to do so, as the galaxy now looked on with a mixture of awe, respect, and caution.